In this video, part 3 of interior detailing sequence, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I clean car upholstery very simply, as well as some tips on water extraction. What's going on? Glad you are here and welcome back to the Wilson Auto Detailing community. If you're a car enthusiast or pro auto detailer who loves everything about auto detailing, then consider subscribing. So just a quick recap for those of you tuning in. If you have not watched part 1 and 2 of this video series playlist, then definitely go back and watch that. It's in a interior detailing sequence playlist. So this is part 3. Basically, just to recap, what I've done so far is number 1, cleaned all interior hard surfaces, plastics, leathers, rubbers, vinyls, all that stuff. Number 2, I cleaned up the carpets, vacuuming, shampooing, all that sort of stuff. Now number 3 in this detailing sequence is cleaning fabric upholstery, cloth upholstery. If it were leather, it would be cleaning leather seats. The seats are number 3 in this interior detailing process. Now let me explain why that is. One of the main reasons that I leave seats as the third part of the interior detailing process is simply because as I am maneuvering around the car, cleaning carpets and stuff like that, I have to like sit on seats sometimes. I have to lean on seats, and particularly in the summertime when I'm like sweating, I'll lean on seats, I'll sit on seats, I'm touching all these areas. And so the basic logic behind my interior detailing sequence chronologically is how do I go from dirtiest to least dirtiest. And so I basically just deduce what I have to do to clean certain areas and then say, okay, I'm not going to do the fabric seats before I do the carpets because I don't want to have to go back and clean things. So because I have to lean on the fabric seats to clean the carpets and get in cracks and crevices, and I'm blowing things out of carpets and they're getting on the seats, I'm going to clean the seats after the carpets, because after the carpets I'm just doing a finisher detailer and the windows, which means I'm not going to get dirt anywhere on the seats. I don't have to sit on the seats to do that. And so again, it just keeps me in a certain sequence so I don't have to go back and do things over and over and over again. So let's talk about the system I'm going to use to clean this upholstery. Now, because of the angle, I know it's not the best angle, but just work with me here. You can't see the entire seat. You know, you have this middle console blocking part of it, but I'm just going to walk you guys through this step by step. So basically, number 1, what I have here is the seat is all the way pushed back and it's all the way laid down, okay? So the back seat is all the way laid down. That way, I can clean this in a little bit easier way. It's easier to clean like with a drill brush pushing down on these than it would be for me to lean this seat up and sideways kind of have to hold it at a 90-degree angle. This makes it easier to clean. It also makes it easier to do some water extraction, which I am going to be doing to this seat. So it just kind of makes this level playing field of this thing to clean, and it makes it much easier. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm not going to be using my steamer on this seat, and I'll explain to you why. I love my VX5000 steamer. I love steamers in general. If you want to check out more about steamers and extractors, I'm hooking up a YouTube card that will take you to my website, detailingjunk.com. There's so much information about steamers and extractors, so click that YouTube card if you want to check out more. But this type of car upholstery, this type of car fabric is more or less fragile, okay? It's kind of a fragile material, and because of that, a steamer, while it is an amazing tool to have and it's great at cleaning, it's also a very aggressive way to clean. And so I just want to be careful because I see this car on a regular basis, because I clean this car on a regular basis. I'm not going to take my steamer to the seats every single time, because if I do that while they're going to be clean, it's just too aggressive and it ends up wearing down the fibers, and you kind of have a problem on your hands that you never really thought you would have, in that you're cleaning so much you're actually kind of hurting the material. And so I don't want to use a steamer. Number 2, I extract these seats about once a year. Why do I leave it once a year to extract? Because while I love my extractor and while water extraction can be a great thing on cloth seats, if you're doing too much of it, or if you don't know what you're doing, you could be waterlogging the seats underneath the foam. And especially on a day like today where it's raining outside and it's not sunny and warm, it makes it even harder to dry things out quickly. And so I don't want to be using a water extractor a ton, just because I don't want to put more liquid onto the seat than I have to, and I'll get into that more as I start cleaning it with an extractor. But let's go ahead and talk about the very first move I'm going to be making. Number 1, these seats are not incredibly dirty. I'm not going to have to, scrub them a bunch, but basically, rather than stirring up the dirt with a steamer, I'm going to stir up the dirt with a drill brush, and this is a power drill. It's by DeWalt. It's also a very soft bristle brush. Of course, I'll hook up a link for all this stuff in the description box below. I'm going to start with this part of the seat and just kind of explain with this part of the seat. I'm going to very lightly spray my Meguiar's all-purpose cleaner, watching watching for overspray on some of these areas that I've already cleaned. All right, that'll do. I'm gonna take my drill brush, not gonna speed this up. I'm just gonna show you guys in, very clear detail what this looks like. I'm also gonna hit some Meguiar's all-purpose cleaner on the front part of the seat here. Just like that, not overcompensating or anything like that. Again, it's just to stir up the dirt, and the more you detail, the more you can kind of recognize where more dirt is going to be on certain areas. For example, this, overhang of the seat where your knees kind of buckle and hang over, this is going to have more dirt because, let's say you're wearing shorts, right? That's where your skin kind of meets the cloth seat itself, and so of course you're gonna have body oils and stuff like that, so I'll do a little bit more there. Now, in this case, if I wanted to, I could maybe just do a little bit of steam, or I could even just take my microfiber towel and mop it up from here. I do want to clean these a little bit more intensely today. Again, I like to do an extraction on these seats once a year, no more than that. And so I'm going to go ahead and get my extractor. It's the Aqua Pro Vac, and we're going to extract these just very, very simply. Now, before I extract them, I am going to spray a very light layer of Meguiar's all-purpose cleaner, just like that. And that literally is just to, especially in the summertime when it's hot outside, the cleaner kind of flash dries on certain surfaces. Fabric's a little bit easier, but I spray a little bit, just a thin layer of Meguiar's all-purpose cleaner before I start extracting, because it makes sure that all that dirt doesn't kind of rebond or kind of dry up at all, and the cleaner kind of keeps it, I guess what I would call looser, ready to be pulled up, and that way I don't have to worry about kind of going over it again. Now again, this is the Aqua Pro Vac extractor. It's a $400 extractor. Again, I'll hook up links for that in the YouTube description box below. Of course, you can visit my website as well, detailingjunk.com, to figure out all about this machine and why I love it and why I love the price point of it. But basically, I'm gonna have to talk to you guys before I turn it on because it's gonna be too loud to hear. What I'm gonna be doing is using very, very little water as I'm extracting. I'm not gonna be holding the trigger down and just keeping it on one specific area, letting it get waterlogged. I'm going to be moving fairly quickly. I'm not gonna speed it up so you guys can see in real time. I'm gonna be moving fairly quickly because, again, I don't want time enough for the water to sink down at any specific level into the spongy underside of the seat. I just want the extractor to run right over the water, pull it right up. Again, these are not very dirty seats, so I would use a different approach if I was dealing with just crazy dirty seats. These aren't crazy dirty. I just want to kind of, again, I like to restart these seats once a year, water extract them once a year, so that is what I'm going to be doing here. And because they're not that dirty, I have the liberty to do this a little bit quickly. So here's what this looks like in real time. just gonna take my microfiber, fold it into fourths as one does, and go ahead and wipe this up, mop up any excess. Sometimes you get a little spray water on the plastic pieces of the side of the seat. No problem, just wipe that up. Now here's a couple thoughts I'd like to kind of pick your brain with, or maybe make you think with, as far as extractors go. You guys saw that while I love my extractor, okay, there's no question, I love the Aqua Pro Vac, and probably really have no need, at least anytime soon, to invest in anything greater than that as far as extractors go. While I love extractors, you saw maybe a little bit, and maybe you didn't, maybe you picked up on this, maybe you didn't. It's pretty difficult to maneuver an extractor to the point where you can conveniently get in all of the areas on this seat. So while you saw me doing this, it was kind of difficult. Now, granted, this kind of face area, this main area, that's easy to extract, right? But what about these side pieces right here? That's kind of difficult. Down here in the creases, that's kind of difficult. The sides of the seat, man, forget it. Extracting that's difficult. And what I mean by difficult is inconvenient. I mean, it's difficult to get the extractor head in those areas in a way that make it just easy to do. So while, again, I love my extractor, I'm glad I have it. I would like to say that an extractor in most cases, and I talk about this on my website, detailingjunk.com, they're way more difficult to maneuver than most people think. And sometimes beginners in particular have this idea, I'm gonna get an extractor, and even though, I've been struggling to get these stains out of my customer's car, but man, when I get that $1,000 extractor, it's gonna be like a magic wand, and I'm gonna be able to get everything out. The truth is, not only is it difficult to maneuver, you're not gonna get all the stains out with an extractor. There are some stains that aren't gonna come out that you're gonna be very surprised that did not come out, and you'll probably be kind of frustrated at yourself. And so for that reason, and many others, but just for right now, that reason alone, I think warrants a lot of caution before you invest in a machine like an extractor. Now, one of the reasons I love the Aqua Pro Vac that I just used is because it really does sit at a fantastic price point, and it allows me to do all the extracting I want to do with all the power I want and all the accessories I want. Let me go ahead and show you guys what this seat looks like. So the seat looks really, really good. There's actually a little bit of ink stain right there I might take care of in just a second, but the seat looks really, really good. And again, you got to kind of give credit where credit's due. Gray tends to be a much easier color to make look good. Black seats, again, are a little bit easier to kind of clean. White seats, tan seats, light gray seats, those are pretty difficult. And another thing, this material particularly of fabric seat, there's a lot of different materials of fabric seats out there these days. This one in particular is a lot easier to clean than that really tight knitted, tight woven fabric that comes in a lot of seats. Now, what's amazing is I can tell you guys a few things. Number one, it's damp, but it's not wet, right? It's just damp. It's gonna be fine to dry even though it's raining outside and it's not sunny and it's just overcast, so I'm not worried about that. Another thing, you guys can see, it just looks good, right? I didn't do the top part yet. I'm gonna do that next. But again, it just looks really, really good. It looks extracted, and like I said, I like to extract these seats once a year just to kind of restart it, pull all the body oils that got in there, pull all the dirt that maybe you can't even see. And hopefully you guys could see when I was extracting, it pulled, you can kind of see because that clear extractor head, you can see the dirt it's pulling out, and of course it pulled out a lot of that dirt that I wanted to pull out even though you can't necessarily see it. And then number three, this was a very simple process, right? I used Super Clean 5-to-1. I used my drill brush that was very, very soft, very delicate on these fabric seats, and then I extracted it. Didn't even need a steamer or anything like that. Just went ahead and did this, and it worked out very, very well. Now what I want to go ahead and do is finish the rest of the seats. I'm basically just going to do that exact process on the rest of the seats. I'm probably not going to extract the back seats just because nobody ever sits back there, and there's no point in overcompensating. Definitely going to extract the driver's seat. However, again, I might just do a simple drill brush, mopping up with a microfiber towel on the back seats, because again, you don't want to over detail, you don't want to overdo something. Again, you extract too much, you steam too much, and you can actually start to kind of wear down materials and break them down in a way that while they're clean, they don't look good anymore because you're just kind of ruining them. And of course, heat, that high heat from a steamer really warrants, again, a lot of caution because you can easily damage fabrics like this. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of that, speed it up a little bit for the rest of the car so it doesn't waste your time, and then we'll come back in at the end. Again, this is step 3 of the interior detailing process, so here we go. So all of the upholstery has now been cleaned with Meguiar's all-purpose cleaner, diluted 10-to-1. Most of it has been water extracted. The middle seat was water extracted. The driver's seat and the passenger seat were water extracted. The two back seats were not, because it just wasn't necessary in this situation. She actually spilled some dish soap in the middle seat, which is why I extracted that. Now, let's take a look at this. It was also, of course, cleaned with the drill brush before I extracted anything. So number one, the seats look absolutely awesome. You can see my LED light up there where we're getting some good lighting. Here we go. They look extracted, right? They have those kind of cleaning lines that you see with a vacuum cleaner. There's the driver's seat. Now we will go to the back seat here to give you a look. Again, all of this is done with the Aqua Pro Vac. Here we go. Back seats look really, really good. Check that out. The back seats look really, really good. Of course, there's still some spots that are drying. And I'll go to the other side here. And here's this side of the back seat again. Gray is kind of a flattering color, not too hard to clean, so I can't say that, you know, it would take a great detailer to do this, but this is what the after looks like. Now this next part is really, really important. In this spray bottle, I have a 1-to-1 dilution of Scotch Guard Fabric Protectant. This is a carpet and upholstery protector concentrate. They suggest diluting it 1-to-1, or half of the bottle with distilled water, the other half with the Scotch Guard solution. It's water soluble, it'll dissolve in water. I shake it up in this bottle. Now, why do I use fabric protector? Because when a car is kind of deep cleaned like this, I say deep clean because I extracted it, and that's pretty intense cleaning as far as detailing goes. I'm kind of like restarting the interior of this car. I do it once a year. And so now that everything is cleaned and just kind of stripped, I want to put a fabric protector on it, because the fabric protector, there's a lot of BS and hype in the auto detailing world. Fabric protector is not one of those things. It actually does work. It is so, so worth the money. I can't remember if this gallon is $40 or $60. It is so worth it. It's ridiculous. Not only can you upcharge for a fabric protectant application, but it works. Now listen, what fabric protector does not keep the upholstery and the carpet from getting dirty. The carpet will still get dirty. The upholstery will still get dirty, right? It'll still get body oils. It'll still get dirt from the bottom of your feet, all that stuff. But the key is, when the protector is applied, there's a sacrificial barrier between the elements of the world and the carpet itself. So the next time I go to clean it, stains come out like that. Dirt comes off like that. It's so easy to clean, and it gets like 100% restored back to that original condition. And so I don't talk this way about a lot of things in the detailing world, because a lot of things are just kind of what I would consider just hype, and they're trying to get your money. This is not one of those things. Scotch Guard is a fantastic product, and I promise you, this is something you want. So what I'm going to do is apply it to every seat and certain parts of the carpet. So let me take you in and explain. Now, as I was describing earlier with carpeting, this, you have to think through these things in the detailing world. I am not going to put a fabric protector on the center of this floorboard because it's covered with a weather mat. So no matter if the weather mat kind of shifts and moves a little bit, this area, this center area, is always going to be covered by the weather mat. So it's just a waste of product to put a fabric protector there, because it's protected by a thick rubber mat. However, the areas that are difficult to clean in a car are the outskirts of the mat, the place that's not covered with the mat, right here, these borders. So I'm going to shake up my solution, and basically I am going to be spraying this on the borders of the carpeting, and my spray bottle is sucking right now. I'm gonna have to change it, but I'm gonna spray it on the border of the carpeting, and I'm gonna let it dry. You can do 2 layers if you want. I wouldn't do more than 2 layers. You spray, you let it dry, you can spray again. I'm just gonna do 1 layer of protectant right now. But again, I'm thinking through where I'm spraying this, because I'm not gonna spray it on areas that don't get dirty or that are already protected. I'm spraying it on exposed areas that are easy to get dirty. For example, this lip of the seat where your knees hang over, very easy to get dirty. Now, I'm gonna spray it all over the seat because it's easy to get all parts of a seat dirty. But again, I'm just trying to be creative and just critically analyze where I need to use this and where it would just be a waste. So I'm going to spray this all over the car. I'm going to spray it all over the seats and in specific places on the carpet. And then I'm just going to leave the doors open for another, hour, and I'm just going to let it dry. So I'm gonna go around one last time. Now all of these seats and the fabric as well has been treated with the Scotch Guard. You might see a few little dots. Again, it's just gotta dry naturally. I could sit here for hours with a leaf blower and just make it dry quicker, but it just needs to go ahead and dry naturally. Again, I only use the Protectant on areas that needed it. So again, all of this back row of seating, and these don't have floor mats back here, so I used it on all the carpets there. And of course I used it on the back trunk mat there. And I'll show you the other side here. There you go. And then of course the driver's side here, definitely needed a lot of that. And yes, it is still drying. It could take an hour or 2 hours based on the weather right now, but that's what it looks like. So just quick recap of the summary of step 3 in the interior detailing process. Number 1, we were mainly focused on the upholstery as far as the car seating goes, but again, you kind of see how 2 and 3 are a little blended together in that step 2 was focusing on carpets, step 3 was focusing on fabric seats, but in step 2, I vacuumed the carpets as well as the seats. In step 3, I treated the fabric seats with Protectant as well as the carpets, so they kind of bleed into each other. But again, technically speaking, in this step 3, I was focused on the upholstery, the car seating. Number 1, it was already vacuumed in step 2. Number 2, I treated it with a light all-purpose cleaner because it wasn't that dirty, and I went ahead and did it with a drill brush, treated it with a drill brush, water extracted it, because again, I like to do that once a year to this vehicle. And then number 3, after I kind of mopped all that up, went ahead and treated all of the fabrics with an upholstery protector. So listen, again, I encourage you guys to go to the description box below this video and click the link to my website, detailingjunk.com. It just has so much information just like this that'll really help you. If you want to buy anything used in this video, check out detailingjunk.com below, as well as the direct links to any of the products I used or tools in this video that I used. You guys can check those out. Of course, if you use my links, it gives this channel a small commission, but it helps me keep putting out awesome content. And of course, hook up any comments in the comments below. Listen, if you're an auto detailer or a car enthusiast and you're new to the channel and you love everything auto detailing, then just consider subscribing, because I come out with videos all the time just like this. Thank you guys so much for being involved and watching, and as always, from Luke here at Wilson Auto Detailing, keep working hard, and I will see you guys in the next video.